Alright, my name is Larry, and this is Orcs Must Die. So this is my first ever Let's Play video. It's something that I've wanted to do for a while, and I've seen lots of these. They're on YouTube. If you search, you can find a Let's Play for almost any game. And basically what a Let's Play is that someone will just play a game and talk about different strategies, or they'll just have fun playing the game and show you how they can beat it. It's good to look that up if you're going to buy a game. I'll do that often, is look up the game on YouTube and see a Let's Play so I can see how the gameplay works. It can be a good way to see if you're going to enjoy the game or not. And it's a type of video I've always wanted to create and just never got around to doing, so I figure now is as good a time as any. So the game Orcs Must Die. I'll probably I'll probably do more videos in the future for different games, so you guys can see the different kind of games that I like to play. We'll start with Orcs Must Die because it's kind of a fun game, a combination of a first-person shooter and a tower defense game, and it has a really funny comic storyline to it. So we'll go ahead and dive in, and I'll explain how the game works. So, this is the menu that shows you all the different levels, and there's 25 levels. I've beaten the game before, so this is my first time doing complete playthrough, probably about 9 or 10 years. So there's about 25 levels to beat. I'll probably play about 3 or 4 for this session, so you guys get a sense of how the game works. And if you guys enjoy it, I'll keep playing it and see what you guys think. So we're going to start with our first level, the hallway. The others will open up as we beat that. As you can see, there's 5 empty spots here. Depending on how well you do on the level, you'll get anywhere between 1 and 5 skulls. The skulls you can use to upgrade your weapons and traps. So we'll go ahead and enter our first menu. It's going to show the storyline, and you'll get a sense of kind of the style of the humor that the game runs with. Here we go.
I've spent 300 years fighting for the Order. I've killed thousands of orcs and defended dozens of rifts. And this is how it ends. One slip and a kobold's blood, and my skull cracks open on the gatehouse steps. So now the task of defending this fortress falls to my apprentice. That's it then. The world is doomed.
It's all up to me now. Rest well, crazy old man. First things first. Let's see what he left me in this spell book.
Alright, so yeah, that gives you a good intro. This character, is clearly based on Bruce Campbell's character in Evil Dead, Ash. Very, very silly, douchey kind of guy. Kind of a screw-up, and we've got to make him be successful. So the way the game works is the orcs are going to come through this door. Each level is going to have different entry points and exit points. But for this level, this is the one door that they're going to come through. And then the white lights will show you the path they're going to take. And where they're trying to get to is this rift right here. That's where they're trying to get to, and your goal is to stop them. So let's look at the different parts of the menu. On the top right there, there's a number 20. And 20 is how many orcs have to reach that rift for you to lose the level. So basically, once 20 of them get through, you lost the level and you have to restart it. But you really don't want to so you could theoretically let 19 through and still beat the level, but really you don't want to let any of them through, because you get skulls based on how well you do. And as I said earlier, use those skulls to upgrade your weapons and traps and spells. So the goal is to not let any of them through. Below that is the map. It just gives you an idea of where the enemies are throughout the gameplay, and it tells you where the entry point and exit points are. Below that it says 1 out of 3. Those are the number of waves in each level. So there's 3 waves. We're about to start the first wave. So this is a short level, and it won't take much time to beat this one. It's a very introductory level. As you'll see, it's going to be very, very easy to beat. On the top left there is the red bar is the health bar. So once you completely lose that due to receiving damage, your character dies. But dying doesn't lose you the whole level. It costs you 3 of those rift points at the top right. So you can die and still beat the level, but still get through it. But you'll lose skulls, so you don't want to die. It just isn't a complete death sentence. But if you only had 2 skulls left, then obviously you would lose the level if you died at that point. The blue bar beneath that is your mana bar. It's the magic bar, so when you want to cast spells, you have to use the mana, and the more you cast spells, the more that bar will go down. And when you don't have enough mana, you basically use that spell until it recharges. It'll constantly recharge very slowly, or there's different ways to speed up the recharge of the mana bar. So you'll have to keep an eye on that so you know when you can use your spells, and you don't want to just spam your spells willy-nilly and then not have them when you need them better later. At the bottom left there is how much cash you have. We'll start with 2,400. Use the cash to place your traps and different items, and use different items and different upgrades within each level. So in the middle there you see open your spell book. So we're going to do that, and we'll be able to select which traps and spells we're going to take into battle. Now, as you see, the spellbook's kind of empty. We only have about 9 spells. This will fill up. Each level that you beat, you'll get a new spell that you can use, or a new trap that you can use with it. So you always have this crossbow. It's the main attack you'll have. You'll be shooting the enemy. That's where the first-person shooter part comes in. So you shoot the enemy using that weapon. But you'll have, as you see at the bottom here, we have 3 more slots to add different weapons and traps. You'll get more slots as the game progresses too. So we have the blade staff. Basically it's a sword. You get to attack the enemy. I don't like using it because I don't like to be close to the enemy. You receive damage and then you can die, and that costs you skulls. You don't want to do that. The spike trap, that's pretty basic. I don't like it because it doesn't do much damage. And also, it takes the place of the best trap in the whole game, which is this tar trap right here. The tar trap basically slows the enemies down. When they step on this, they get caught in it, and they go move really, really slowly. So getting them stuck in that tar trap is a really good way to prevent them from getting to that rift, and also to create a bottleneck so you can destroy them really easily. The shock zapper just shoots them from up above. With like a lightning bolt, with like a shock. The mana well, it helps restore your mana quicker if you place that in various points. There's different points you can run to and refill your mana. As you see, that costs 1,500 for each one of those you want to build. So it's very, very expensive. I don't use it that much. The Vampiric Gauntlet, this is a spell basically. It costs you mana each time you want to use it. It can be useful in some situations. This is very useful in the early levels because this is a spell where you can place these acid bombs and then you can remotely detonate them. And it does a lot of damage to the orcs at the basic levels. And this Floor Scorcher basically just shoots fire at the orcs as they pass by it. At the top, it shows here the types of enemies that you're going to be facing. So right now it's just the Orc Warrior. As you progress through the levels, you're going to see a lot more enemies, a lot more complex. There'll be trolls, there'll be ogres, there'll be bats that you'll have to shoot in the sky. So it'll get more and more complex, and they'll be a lot tougher to defeat as you move forward through the levels. So we're going to go ahead and select our traps. So I'm going to definitely take the tar trap. I don't think there's a single level in the whole game that's not useful for, so I'll always use the tar trap. We will use our acid bombs, and we'll use our Floor Scorcher. This will be a good way to start. And now we're ready to start the game. So, as you can see, they're here and they're trying to get there. So basically, with each level, before you start, you can build traps before you start the first wave. And what you always want to do is find the best place to create a big bottleneck so you can do the most damage in one small area. So clearly, the easiest stage here, the narrowest gap is right here. It's the easiest place to stop them. And so we're going to place our tar traps there. So, 2,
I like this one.
4. So, we've got our 4 tar traps. And I'm going to go ahead and place my floor scorcher right there, so it's going to shoot them as they come forward. And as you're going to see, this level is going to be very, very easy to beat. It's very basic. They just run in a straight line right at you. They're about to break through the wall now. I've started the level. It's time for the first wave. When shooting with your crossbow, if you get a headshot in, it will do extra damage. And for these basic orcs, a headshot will kill them with 1 shot. And it's really, really useful. But I don't even need to make it that hard because those acid bombs pretty much kill a huge group on their own. Should be able to get through this level pretty quickly. Actually, what I'm going to do here is delete him so I can put 2 floor scorchers up. 1 there and 1 there. And here they come. Go ahead and take a few out. I'm not that good at creating the headshots, but there, I got a few of them. But not a big deal. They're not going to have much hope to get through. They're very basic orcs, and it's a very basic level. So we're going to actually speed this up a little. Kill them as quickly as I can. I don't even need them to get to my bottleneck to kill a lot of them. As you can see, I can't use, my mana went down a little bit, so I can't use the green bombs yet, but now these guys are about to die. A lot of them there. And you're dead. Alright, so as you see at the right there, it's now 3 out of 3, so this is the final wave coming up. So let's go ahead and place a couple more tar traps, and we're going to get a little floor scorcher to shoot fire at them from the side. They're dead pretty quickly. Burnt to a crisp. And
Oh yeah!
you can place weapons as the level goes, but you can't pause it and place weapons. So sometimes you can try to place weapons and enemies will start attacking. So be real careful when you do that.
I think I'm gonna be sick.
He provides fun commentary throughout the game for you. The last guy right there. And he dances as we win. So we won that level. That was the last orc. And let's see if we get our 5 skulls. All 5 skulls. So that worked. And if you're ever curious how to get the 5 skulls, so we get 4 skulls for not letting anybody through and not losing any of our rift points. So none of the orcs made it. That gives us 4 skulls. And if you beat the time limit, there's a different time limit for each level. This one was 4 minutes. We did it in 3 minutes and 15 seconds. So we did very well there. So we'll take you to the upgrades menu. This shows how you can upgrade your weapons and spells. And right now, as you see, we only have 5 skulls here at the bottom. But there are the lowest amount that you can spend is 8. So we don't have enough to do any upgrades, but here's an example of some of the upgrades. For instance, the tar trap. If you upgrade it, it'll slow them down even more, which is great, obviously. The floor scorcher will have a wider arc of fire. That is a 16 skull upgrade, so that's obviously once you start building up skulls, you could do stuff like that. We don't have enough right now, so we'll just continue on to the next level. And we're going to get a new trap to use, which is the arrow wall. Each time you beat a level and you start the next one, you'll get a new trap that you can use. And the arrow wall is one of the best traps to use.
With the old man dead and my apprenticeship finally over, I can draw on the full power of the rift. I'll get a new toy to play with every time I defend a rift.
So yeah, he was just explaining what I was saying earlier. You get a new trap each time you beat a level. So this level's a little bit different, but it's a very basic level and it's going to be very easy to beat as well. This is our first level where we have multiple doors. The orcs are going to come through 2 different doors this time, but they're going to merge and all go down the same hallway. So it would be kind of dumb. You could split your resources. You could place some traps here and some traps here, but that would make sense because when you think of this, in each level that you do, you always want to find the bottleneck point, the best point where you can concentrate your resources. It's the best. You only have $2,400 right now, so you want to spend your money wisely and create the best point where you could just create a really good arsenal and ambush them. So we're not going to do anything until we get to this point. So let's go ahead and open our spell book. We can obviously take our tar trap. I'm going to take our acid bombs, our floor scorcher, and we're going to take our new friend, the arrow wall. So let's go ahead and put our tar traps down.
Just add orcs and blend.
These 4 traps are down, and we're going to do an arrow wall. And let's start the level.
They're breaking through.
They're going to come through this door first. Walls able to shoot arrows, and it's unlimited firepower, so you wait for the reset. It doesn't just always fire. After it fires once, it'll take time to reset, but you never run out of arrows to fire at them. Kill him. These guys are about to bite it, and we'll do a little bomb. Bye bye. Bye-bye. Yeah, where are you going? You ain't going nowhere. So now the other door is going to open. As you see on the right side of the screen, there's 4 stages to this one. It'll increase as you go through the levels. You'll have more and more waves that you have to do to beat each level.
Don't crossbow me, bro! Why crossbow fire 1,000 times?
Good times. Good times.
And so far nobody's really getting close to the rift. And another acid bomb. Bye bye. A lot of money that I'm not spending it. I don't really need to, but the money doesn't carry over to the next level, so I might as well buy. We'll do more tar traps.
I do.
Just in case they get further. Do our arrow walls.
Step right this way, Mr. Orc.
Do one more tar trap. And now both doors are coming at us at the same time. Doesn't matter though, because they're all just going to come to the same area. Levels will get more and more complicated. It'll be much harder to create a bottleneck like this as we move through. The other thing is you're going to face much tougher enemies as you move through the levels. These are really basic orcs. The ogres are going to be much harder to kill. And the acid bombs will not kill them in one shot like they do with these orcs.
Ooh, brutal!
Killed a lot of them in one shot there. He's done. Come on, buddy. Alright, so you get a stopping point every now and then, but the clock is running. We don't want to spend too much time. So, create some tar. And we'll do some floor scorchers. So just shoot them from behind as they run through. Alright, let's go ahead and go. This is the final wave. You see it says 4 out of 4 over there.
You stuck on my foot.
And they're not making much progress. This is the most. There's a lot of them coming right now. It doesn't really matter because they're running through all of that tar. They don't have much hope to get past all my traps and my acid bombs. They're just getting slaughtered. Yep, you suck. And there we go. So we've now beat that level, but probably have enough money to go ahead and buy an upgrade. So yeah, we have 10 skulls now. So we can go ahead and upgrade the sticky tar trap, and we're going to make it even slower. So now it slows them even more, which is great. We want to slow them as much as possible. So let's move on to our next level. Granted the boom barrel. Basically, you place a barrel down on the ground, and then it can be detonated.
Another fortress,
kind of like the acid bombs, except the barrels you have to pay each time you use them. They don't cost mana. That's the trade-off. So I prefer the acid bombs, but the barrels can be useful if you don't want to spend lots of mana using them. Let's go ahead and open our spellbook. Well, actually, before we open the spellbook, let's go ahead and take a look at what they're going to do on this level. So they're going to come through this door. They're going to go down this hallway, turn this corner, and try to get to that rift. There's this little stairway here. It looks like they're going to go up it, but they won't. As you can see, the little white light just moves past it and goes all the way to that rift. I'm not sure what this is really for. Supposedly you could just shoot at them from above, but it's actually more useful to be down here and just create this little bottleneck as usual. Alright, so let's go ahead and open our spellbook. Again, it's another basic level. We're going to defeat this pretty easily. In fact, nobody is going to even be able to turn the corner and see the rift, is my prediction. So let's open our spellbook. We're going to take our upgraded tar trap. It's going to be even more useful. The arrow wall, the acid bombs, and the floor scorcher. Now, as you can see though, we're going to face our first new enemy. In addition to our orc warrior, we're going to have a crossbow orc. Now these guys can be problematic because they will shoot me from afar, and so it's harder for me to stay out of danger. And I've had a few close calls with them. If you don't pay attention to your life bar, you can suddenly die to a random orc crossbow shot. And we're ready to start the level. So what we want to do, as usual, we want to find this bottleneck. And this hallway, pretty much, they're going to run right through a bottleneck. We don't even have to find one, because it's pretty much this hallway. And I'm going to go ahead and just create my tar traps here. As you can see, I only need to make them too wide. There's not enough space for them to avoid the tar traps. So I could save a little bit of money here, but I have to place them 3 wide. So
Catnip, but for orcs.
we could put 3 rows of them, and then we'll put a little arrow wall in case they get past the tar. And let's go ahead and start. It's level 3 of Orcs Must Die.
They're breaking through.
It's lunchtime. Stay out of my mind.
Bye, evil guys.
Voices, they hurt.
Again, it's a pretty basic level. Pretty easy. Game definitely does get more challenging. You're going to have levels where they're entering from multiple doors and trying to get to multiple rifts, and it'll be much harder. You'll have to run around a lot more. This part does get a little challenging here, though. I have to watch out for these orc crossbow guys. You see, they've already affected my life meter. The good thing is that these little red potions I can drink to replenish my life. So, might as well go ahead and drink one now. Again, there's no danger of 20 of these guys getting across, but if I randomly die to some orc shots, then I will lose my 5 skulls.
Just for
I
you.
need to keep collecting skulls so I don't die. I mean, so I can upgrade my weapons. Spells. Go ahead and use this potion. Those guys are dead. Those guys are dead. Those guys. Next guys are going to be dead. Now I'm out of mana, so I can't. I need to wait for that to build up a little more, so we'll shoot a few guys. We'll wait for my acid bombs to recharge. We can let a few of them get through my arrows. And they're nice and bunched up now, and they can die.
Let's do it again.
There we go. So I'm gonna get stopping point. It always replenishes your health halfway through, or it's various points through different levels. You'll get these stopping points. You don't want to spend too much time on it because you are being timed. If you want to get 5 skulls, you got to beat it on time. So I'm not gonna dilly-dally too much here. Just put up some arrow walls. I left a little gap there. It's not a big deal.
Ooh, shiny.
And we're on the 4th of 5 waves. And as I predicted, none of them have made it around the corner yet. One way to get around to the crossbow guys is if you move to the right and the left. You can get out of their way. One thing you can do is if you need to replenish your life, you can run over here to the rift, and it replenishes your health meter.
Ugh, I think I'm gonna be sick. We're under the bridge. Oh yeah!
And I'm out of mana, so I try to use that, and they're shooting at me. My arrow walls took care of them, a few of them at least, and they're all dead.
Up on aisle 3.
Our little hero there just said clean up on aisle 3. Funny guy. And boom. You're dead. You're dead. I gotta be careful. I got my life. So now I'm gonna go ahead and over here to this rift and replenish my life. Those crossbow guys are really irritating. And I haven't even put more traps I can put up.
You go first.
That's gonna leave a mark. Traps are just so cool!
You can keep buying as they come. Sometimes I forget that. Especially on these easier levels, I don't really need all these traps. I'm gonna go ahead and drink that red potion. I'm almost getting a little dangerously low there. Kill those guys. Kill these guys. We're on the last wave, so should be done with this very shortly. Oh, not enough energy. I used a little bit too much magic. So we'll just fire away. Some crossbow guys there in the back trying to I got him. And they're dead. We got less than less than half of my life bar, so that was a little dicey there, but we won. And let's see if we get our 5 skulls. Yay, we got all 5 of them. So we're doing really well. And I think I'm gonna stop the Let's Play at that point. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll continue with level 4 when I'm back. Please leave me any feedback in the comments. Be kind, this is my first Let's Play video. I'll try to fix any issues there are for the next one, but I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.